Hi folks, it's time for another solo role-playing actual play. Today we're doing superheroes and we're using TRICUBE Tales, and I'll tell you all about it right after the intro. Hi folks, and welcome to Sharp Mountain Games. Here we talk about group role-playing games, solo role-playing games, and there are plenty of actual plays in the playlist. You can check out our print and PDF products at Amazon, Lulu, Drive-Thru, and Roll20, and they're all linked below. Let's get started, and we're glad you're here. So today we're continuing our superheroes story from before, and don't worry if you haven't seen the other videos, I'll link them below, and even if you don't have time to watch them, I'll still give you a little recap in a minute or so, to catch you up. So don't feel like you have to have seen the other videos or you have to go watch them right away. I hope you do, but don't worry about that for right now. So we're using TRICUBE Tales, and I'm making some adjustments to the system, and I'm going to show you that. I had the really good fortune to run this with a group on Thursday night of this week. It's Sunday as I'm recording this, and it went really well, but there were some areas I think that could have been clearer, and I don't blame TRICUBE Tales. Maybe I could have been better about explaining them. So here's what I'm trying for this session, and let me show you. And don't worry if you're not, super familiar with TRICUBE Tales. I'll just talk you through it right now. So here's our Terry Rocky Robertson, who's kind of like our Thing character, if you know the Thing from the Fantastic Four. And a couple things that I changed, small things. First of all, if he fits anything that fits within his archetype, like he's a brawny football star. So anytime he's doing anything that would involve strength, like melee combat or lifting things, he rolls 3d6. Or anything with football, I imagine you'd learn quite a bit about throwing things and throwing things very accurately. Also, because he was a football star, maybe some things like public relations, he knows the public really well. He'd roll 3d6. Now, what's different is there's 3 attributes. I decided, well, let's try to rank them. Maybe that would make it a little bit more like a traditional, make the transition easier from a traditional role-playing game. So if he does anything that's agile, that's 2d6, because certainly as a sports person, he'd be very agile. Crafty is things like, more academic pursuits. So maybe he didn't spend as much time on that. So for all the characters, I rank them this way, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that works. And then for a perk, so you roll your dice and you look for 5 and 6s for success. Now, to activate a perk, now perk's always on, like you always have your stone body, but if you are willing to spend a karma point or a hero point, you can make 4 5s and 6s a success. So I figure he has a stone body, so there's cases where that will come into play, and he's a multimillionaire, so maybe if there's cases where they need to, they need to get something, he would certainly have the money to front for that. And then TRICUBE Tales uses resolve as its hit points. I just changed that to scene hit points because you do get 3 per scene and they can bounce back. And, think about superheroes. I think it really fits for superheroes where, they can get defeated in one particular scene, but they tend to bounce back by the, towards the end of the comic book or by the next issue. And hot-headed is his quirk. So with a quirk, if you have a situation where basically make your roll more difficult. So instead of a 5, you'd need a 6 to succeed. You can use your quirk. And if you use your quirk, you can get either a karma or a resolve point if you're still successful in that roll. So that's kind of a way to get your meta currency back a little bit for the game. So these are, like I said, these are just some small changes I made to the system, and we'll see how it goes. I may change my mind. And that's the great thing about solo play. I can change the rules every session if I want, or I can test fly rules and see if I like them. So let's get into things. Let's get right into the story because you didn't come to hear me give a lecture on the system, although I did want to present it in case you're not familiar with it. So, and if you are familiar with things like Tiny D6 or Easy D6, things are very similar in TRICUBE Tales. I think they're kind of I would really say they're all in the same family of games. So here's our 3 heroes. And in fact, after last time, after they had some success, they had to defeat a robot, and there was a astronomer she was trying to enrich this meteorite to make it kind of like kryptonite for our female character here. So they've had some time to, relax now, and they're talking about things. Maybe they're at a little cafe having something to drink, coffee or tea or whatever thing is, and these are just little dominoes that I painted gray. I love them. They're just so easy to make scenery and stuff out of. And they're talking. And, of course, they have asked Stargem to be on their team. Rocky is trying to form a team here because, you know, he knows that he can't do this all alone, as strong as he is. So they're talking about things, and Quantum Cat does ask her. Quantum Cat's our other superhero, and our purple one is Stargem, our female superhero. And he asks her, you know, a little bit about her origin. And she explains that, you know, she doesn't tell them her secret identity name. They're not at that point yet, you know, for sharing that. Neither does Quantum Cat at that point. Rocky, since he was a famous football player, he doesn't have a secret identity. But she starts to tell this story that there was a star very far away from Earth. And many, many centuries ago, one of the aliens from that orbited that star. And the star itself, she says, I think it was sentient. And one of the aliens who lived on that world, you know, that orbited that star, he came to Earth as an explorer, and he stayed, and he fell in love, and he had descendants. And in the meantime, that star itself was starting to die. So the star itself sent out a part of its heart, a part of its crystalline heart, the center of the sun, of the star, and sought me out. And I think I'm the last descendant. I mean, there may be others, and that star merged with me and has provided my star gem powers. And she also, you know, she sips her drink a little bit and says something also, you know, although, you know, I work as a programmer and that keeps me very busy, but I feel like I still have to use this, you know, to help other people, although it doesn't leave a lot of time for, you know, social life and being a young person. But, you know, I hope to eventually find some balance with that. And Quantum Cat, you know, he says, oh, I agree. He says, you know, I'm very busy with my physics work as well. And Rocky says, well, you know, and everybody knows what happened with me. I'm not going to get into a big origin story here, secret origins or anything like that. You know, let's get down to important things. You had said that you might know a hero uptown who might be able to help us. And she says, oh, yes, you know, there's, I don't know him myself, but there's rumors of a kind of a vigilante. Shadow Street is what he goes by. And he really protects, you know, one of the neighborhoods up there. Now, I don't know that how superpowered he is or not. I just don't know that. However, you know, from what I understand, he has a real bead on the way things are on the streets. So I think that would be a really big asset for us, you know, to have somebody who knows his way around the underground and could, you know, help us out when we need, especially tracking down villains and people who are doing bad things. And a lot of times, too, even the big superpowered villains, they hire other people to do their work. So, you know, he could definitely be an asset for us. And Rocky says, well, how are we going to get in touch with this guy? And she said, well, you know, maybe the best thing to do is to go up right around when his patrol time is, right around dusk, go up to that part of town and see what's going on there. And then, you know, we might luck out. We might find him if there's enough trouble there. And since let's say it's starting to get about dusk now, probably it's a Saturday. So they are going to head uptown. So they head uptown and they do a bit of patrolling, and it's a lot of kind of boring hours. You know, they keep to the alley so that they don't attract too much attention to themselves. And I have some little cars here to make a little street scene maybe. Some of you may know that, you know, or if you've seen any of my other videos, that I'm pretty lo-fi about things. I don't know. I like to keep things nice and simple for myself because I want to focus on, you know, having a good time and relaxing and not worrying about setting up or printing out a lot of fancy scenery. Mostly, too, because I hope that, you know, as I do these, I hope to be like example that maybe you'll want to do this, too. Because it's just such a great way to relax and get your creative energy going, especially after a long day at work. So they're patrolling for a while, you know, and they're not seeing much. Not much is going on. But then about a block over from where they are, they hear an alarm go off. So they immediately start to rush over there. Now, Stargem can fly, so she's probably going to, you know, fly and see what's going on. And the boys, you know, they rush over there right now. And what they see going on is there is a smash and grab going on right now. That these three, bad guys here, they look pretty rough. They have knocked out, broken into the window, jewelry store, and they are scooping everything up. And of course, Stargem, says, "Stop now, so it's not worse for you." And surprisingly, they turn and they fire at her. And they have some kind of, not just a gun, but some kind of almost like a blast of electricity comes out of there. Now, in this system, the opponents don't roll, only the heroes. So let's see if she is able to avoid that. No, she's not. So one of them, and I don't have any 4s. I don't know if you can see that in my little dice tray here. So she definitely loses a scene hit point or a resolve point. That's what you call it in standard TRICUBE Tales. And, kind of gets zapped back a little bit. She says, "Little help here." So Rocky says, "Hey, don't do that to a lady." And he pushes these cars aside. And I'm going to say he rushes over. And he's going to take a slug. Now, he's used to hitting at people without trying to kill them, because otherwise he'd be in trouble. Now, he's very brawny, so he's going to definitely get to roll 3 dice. I have these nice gray dice. They have a skull on them for the 1. Now, his agility, he's not as agile, so that's only 2. So we're going to see how he does. So he hits into 1. Oh, look at that. Yeah, he hits. I don't think he's going to burn a karma just yet, but he's able to step out of the way, and he kind of takes a whack at one of the bad guys, one of the thieves here. And like I said, they look like ordinary street guys, not especially fancy, cut off flannel shirts where they cut off the sleeves. So he does a little bit of damage. He knocks this guy back, but he is able to avoid any problems with the gun there. Now, Quantum Cat is going to try and, he has a quantum leap ability. So we'll figure he'll leap in. Maybe he'll get kind of over here. He's not getting quite as close, although their guns are ranged weapons. He is the blue dice, and he is agile. So he's going to try a quantum entanglement on one of them. And since he's agile, he can also use 3d6 to try and avoid. So yeah, the white ones are the avoidance. The color ones are always going to be the attack. Oh, look at that. He gets 2. So he stickifies this guy up. I'll just lay him down just so I remember which one it is, and takes him out because they only have 2 effort or scene hit points. I think I like the term scene hit points for the bad guys as well. So he kind of, blows on his fingernails and rubs them on his shirt there a little bit, on his super suit, and has entangled him. Okay, so let's see who did not go yet. Stargem did not go, and she is agile, which is good. So she is going to use it, and from her fingertips, she can shoot. They're like light rays, like rays of the sun. But when they hit this guy, they harden. They harden almost. So he's getting hit by almost a pellet full of gems here. Oops, and they got to go through the dice tower. That's the rule. So let's see how she does. 1 point, but she does avoid his electro gun there for right now. So she had a good round, and Rocky says, "I'm getting tired of all this." He is going to try to, give the love tap to one of the others while avoiding the electro gun. Oh, look at that. He's got 2. So he definitely, no problem, knocks this guy out. Now the third guy, let's see. I think Quantum Cat's going to try his again, his quantum entanglement here. Let's see how he does while still trying to avoid getting zapped. Yeah, he avoids getting zapped and takes care of this guy. So they don't have any really big issues taking care of these folks. Nor should they. But they do have one who is still conscious, the one who is webbed up. And they can also hear the police sirens. So Rocky is going to try to intimidate him. Hey, pal, what's going on here? What do you, we need to know who hired you with these fancy pop guns. That's not normal street hardware. And the guy is very scared about that. So let's see what he can do. Now, Football Star is not going to help him. This would be a crafty thing. But I really think he's going to get a perk on that. He's going to, well, let's see what happens when he rolls. So he would only roll 1d6. A 1. No, that's just no help for him there. So he's not able to. And the police sirens start up and the police are coming. And Rocky says, how about you, Quantum Cat? Can you do anything with your quantum field tracking? And let's see how he does. So Quantum Cat is able to detect, issues in the quantum fields. And let's see if he can. So that would be, his superpowers. And how did we do? Oh, we got a 6 there. I was thinking I might have to burn a karma for him, but not just yet. So he says, I am getting something. He said, these guys, before they came here, they were somewhere else. They were not too far away. I wonder if that's where they got these fancy electro guns. And Rocky said, hey, what are we waiting for? Maybe the big guy will be there too. What's his name? Street Shadow or something? And then our Star Gem said, no, Shadow Street. So they are able to get an address, and Quantum Cat makes sure they're all quantum entangled. It's kind of like Spider-Man's webs. Figure it's going to last maybe an hour or so, and they hear the sirens. And so they're going to take off for uptown a little bit. So let's get those guys out of the way here. Put them off to the side here. And they head uptown, even further uptown. And they're kind of, trying to be stealthy. There's no alley. There's not a lot of alleyways, but maybe there's one in there. Watching there. And there is an abandoned, probably like an abandoned storefront over across the way there that they're watching from across the street. And let's see what if our Shadow Street shows up. 3, he does. On a 1, 2, or 3, it was a 50-50 chance he was going to show up at this point. And they hear a voice kind of above them, from a fire escape. What are you doing here in my territory? And he drops down. And you can see I have a little black people there for him. He is kind of like a Batman type. I don't have a drawing yet of him and Star Gem. I have to work on that maybe this week. But he's a very independent fellow. He works alone. He says, I'm working this case too. He said, I don't want you to goof it up for me. And Star Gem says to him, she says, well, we're actually here to maybe perhaps even enlist your help, or maybe we can help you out on all this. And he says, I don't know. This is a complicated case. He says, new villain, a lady by the name of Joyride. She's got a lot of electricity flowing through her. I don't know what happened to her. But there's been all this stuff where they're knocking over storefronts, and I think, money, and they're laundering things. But I think there's a bigger thing going on here. I think there's some bigger plans here. And he recognizes, I know you. He points to Rocky Robertson. He says, you're a superhero now, huh? And Rocky says, well, we did come here. This isn't just random. We're really thinking about trying to recruit you, for our team. And he says, well, let's see how this goes. Let's try and do it stealthy and see what happens. He says, I'm going to look and see if I can get in there and find a way to open the door, or see what's going on. So kind of like Batman, he's going to be up looking for a skylight or a fire escape or an upper open window to see if he can get in. Now, he's a brawny detective, so he's really good with his fists, fairly agile, a little less crafty. Now, he'll still use his detective, though, at 3d6 if he's doing something for detection. So he's the black dice. Batman would be, too, if I were playing in a licensed game here. Let's see how he does. Oh, look at that. He got two successes. So I think that's good. So he gets in quietly. And he is able to see 3 young women who are inside here. And this is kind of set up almost like an apartment. You know, there's computer screens playing videos, a little bit of music playing, you know, soda cans all over and empty pizza boxes. And he hears them talking, "But when do you think the boss is coming back here? You know, is she taking us on this big adventure that she has planned for later?" Okay, and Shadow Street hears all this. So he knows that there may be some plans here. He also sees there's a desk over in the corner with a lot of papers and some diagrams on it, as though maybe somebody were planning something here. So he's going to try to stealthily get out of there, and let's see how he does. Now, I think that's more of an agile roll. Maybe I should have only rolled 2 before. That's going to be more of an agile roll for him to get out without making any noise. And what do we got? Oh, we got a 6 there. That's plenty good. 5s and 6s are successes. So he goes out and he tells them about this. And he says, "Now, how are we going to play this? We don't want to, you know, lose them. And there's some information in there." He said, "And you know, I think they have the same kind of weapons that we saw with those street thugs. So we've got to play this real cool and real quiet." He kind of looks at Rocky, you know, like, don't go. We may not be able to just go busting through there. And Rocky says, "Well, here's what I think. Maybe I should bust through there. You know, Stargem and I, we're kind of your more powerful ones. We can come in through the front there. And, you know, if you can try to sneak in and Cat can teleport in using his quantum leap, we might be able to get them, you know, and take them by surprise." He said, "You know, we'll kind of be the distraction." And Shadow Street says, "Well, maybe. So let's see how this is going to play." So Rocky is going to try to just bust down the doors here. That's definitely a brawny roll. 6, no problem. You know, he's easily able to tear open that door. And maybe he's even going to use his catchphrase. I still haven't figured that out yet. Maybe he's going to say, "Long live Rock." That's pretty bad, isn't it? And then she is going to fly in here as well. And let's see if how Shadow Street does with his sneaking in. Does he sneak in? Yep, he sneaks in, so that's no problem there. Maybe I'll even give him a perk for 1 round, because he was able to sneak in. And then let's see if Quantum Cat is able to teleport in. Yep, no problem. Okay, so things are going down. And the first thing they do before they try any kind of attack on our players is, I'm going to give him a perk too, just for 1 round though. Just for 1 round. Is this one here is going to start a fire, you know, with that electro gun of all the paper. So this desk is on fire at that point. And Rocky says, "We can't lose those. Cat, you take care of them." Okay, so let's go in our order here. The nice thing about this, too, is because it's kind of simultaneous back and forth. I don't worry about initiative. So let's have Rocky go first here. Send him down. And he avoids the electro gun, but doesn't do any damage. All right, I was thinking about whether he'd spend a karma, but maybe another time. And Stargem is going to, again, try and use her, you know, Stargem beam there to zap him a bit. And let's see how she does. 1 success, and she avoids any problems. So those two have taken care. They've used up their everybody's used up their fire for today. So she's taking care of 2 there? No, just 1. Okay, so she had 1 zap. Okay, now Quantum Cat, and he's going to have that perk because he was able to sneak in. I think that's reasonable. So that means 4 5s and 6s are successes for him. He is going over here and is trying to stop this fire. And that has 3 scene hit points because, you know, it's a wooden desk and paper material. So let's see how he does here. He's burning a karma, definitely. Going to use up a karma there to turn that 4 into a success. So he is starting to put out the fire there. You know, maybe again with his quantum teleportation, maybe he can teleport some of the air molecules out of there to sort of smother the fire. And let's see. Then Shadow Street is leaping in. He's a brawny detective, so he is using his fists here. And he says, "Oh, I hate to do this to a lady." And let's see how he does. Yeah, he didn't even need the perk that round. Now, I got to take away the perk because I'm only going to do that for 1 round. I don't think it would be fair to keep it going. So he does 2 damage there, or to another one. Not the same one that Star Gem hit. I think she went after the middle one. Okay, back to the top of the batting order here. Rocky is going in, trying to avoid the zapper guns. I'll have him over here. We'll just have them face off in that way, and let's see how they do. No, it looks like he misses totally, but he doesn't get zapped at least. I guess that's something. And Star Gem using her Star Gem powers. She's agile, so we get to use 3 on both of them. Let's see. She is going to burn a karma so as not to get hit. You can't use more than 1 karma per round, so I can't do that, you know, and allow her to hit as well. It's just the way it is. Let's see. Quantum Cat, he's got to try to get that fire out because they really need these notes. And let's see how we do there. Oh, look at that. 2 successes. He is good. He is able to teleport all the oxygen out of there. And since it's only 2 rounds, now the papers are charred, so maybe he won't get to know everything. But he is able to take care of things for now. And I got to try and keep my dice in a certain order just so I remember who's gone and who hasn't. So that's right. The only person who hasn't gone yet is our brawny, but not quite as agile detective Shadow Street. And let's see how he does. 6 is good. 6 is very nice. Oh, 2 6s. And a 6 to avoid. So he is going to gently, like a gentleman, take out one of the young ladies with her electro pistol. They're just kind of punky, gothy. And then let's see how Rocky's doing. He is going to try and take care of things here. Oops, I got stuck in the dice tower. There we go. So we've got a case of... Now, he is going to burn a karma, and unfortunately, he doesn't have enough to avoid getting hit. So he gets hit and gets zapped with that electro gun, and even with his rocky hide, there's not much he can do about that. But he's going to turn one of those... he's going to burn a karma there. You know, figure with his stone body, that's his perk, so he can hit maybe a little bit harder and take the other one out. And then let's see how Star Gem does here. And I'm not letting them recover their scene hit points in this case because, you know, this is sort of all happening kind of all at once and pretty fast. Let's see how she does. Oh, terrible. Terrible. But she doesn't take any damage, at least. So she's trying to zap that other one. And she says, you know, I could use an assist here, Shadow Street. But it's not his turn, so Quantum Cat's going to go, and he doesn't have to make a dodge roll because she already used her electro gun for this round. I think he's going to go with the good old quantum entanglement here and see how he does. Okay, he gets a success on that. He gets one success. That's not enough to entangle her yet. But let's say that'll give Shadow Street a perk when he tries to come in here. I believe she already fired, so I don't think he needs to dodge that. Oh, look at that with that perk. He doesn't even need the perk, but we gave it to him anyway. You know, get kind of as an that's kind of how an assist works, at least for me. So they are able to take care of all of them. And Shadow Street says, well, should we let the police know? And Rocky says, well, you know, I don't really, we're the ones breaking and entering here. I don't know if there's much they can charge them with, you know, unless they have a rap sheet on them. But Rocky goes and he takes all their electro guns and he just crushes them. He says, you know, this will be enough. And he looks around, and if there's any other electronic kind of stuff here, he takes care of that and crushes it. And Shadow Street and Stargem and Quantum Cat come over, and they're looking at the papers. And what they see on the papers are a kind of information and a schematic. And it is for a local corporate headquarters where they also have a research facility. So Shadow Street says, you know, I hear they had just hired a new big shot electronics guy. I don't know what he was working on, but a Dr. Bixby. It seems like, you know, with all these plans, that may be where she's going after. And Quantum Cat says, well, you know, does anybody need to rest before we go in here? And Rocky and Stargem says, yeah, we do, but there's just no time. If she's trying to kidnap somebody, you know, or worse, somebody's life could be in danger. We've got to get over there, and we've got to get over there right now. And we are going to leave that for next time because I'm just watching the clock, and I'm about a half hour or so in here. So, and it may take a little time. So we're going to leave the ending for that. You know, it's kind of like it's the last page of the comic book, and, you know, you got to check it out next issue. Or sometimes they make you buy an issue of a different comic book because they're trying to sell you on that as a little sneaky way. But we will take care of that next time, and we'll have to see if Shadow Street is working out for them. You know, we'll see how it goes next time. See if he's going to join the team or not. So I hope you enjoyed this look at TriCube Tales, or that you just enjoyed a little bit of storytelling here. And I also hope that it's a little bit of a way to spur you on also to consider try your own solo role playing. You don't have to talk in voices. You don't have to do anything fancy, but, you know, roll some dice, make a few notes for yourself, and have a good time. And we'll try to wrap this up in our next video, definitely within the next week or so. I thank you so much for watching. We'll see you then.